Welcome back to Off Guard. It's your host, Austin Reaves, with my guy, Pausha. We are back. How are we doing? Hope everybody's well out there who's listening.
Well, I wanted to check in with you first. I know you're doing your first job with NBC, your first assignment. You're in Detroit?
Yes, I'm here in Detroit, man. First game, NBC on Peacock. Interesting setup. This is the first time we're going to be launching the bench, quote unquote, position where me and my color commentary colleague Robbie Hummel will be on the other bench, along with Noah Eagle, doing color play broadcasting, but with the twist. Obviously, now we're not just centered dead center in the middle of the court like every other broadcast team does for their games. Now there's only one guy center court, and the other two will be split between each team. So I'll be on one bench, Robbie will be on the other bench. So it's going to be interesting tonight because, for one, I can't to talk like this is, just going into it, just being honest. I don't know when they're going to talk or not talk because I'm not next to them. So it's very easy to sit next to someone and broadcast the game because when he's talking, I'll just wait for him to be finished and then I'll go. I can't see Robbie. I'll be able to see Noah, but it'll be across from the court. And when we did our pre-trials for this, there was nobody in the stands. Tonight, the game sold out. So to be in an arena with this many people, I'm also going to be sitting next to a fan. He's going to be like loud and yelling and spilling drinks and popcorn, and I'm going to be like,
there's
doing
no
this
way
game.
You're going to be right next to him, like a regular Pistons fan.
Right next to him on the court, right there.
That's crazy.
It's good. So I think that's part of the experience is like being in the game without being in the game, just giving an alternative way to broadcast and to color commentate the game rather than the usual. So it's a very good idea by Sam Flood. And it's our job to execute it. So very excited for tonight. He's flying in and everybody's flying in for this tonight to make sure this goes smoothly. There's been concerns with a few teams. In full transparency, there's been I shouldn't even say few. There's been one concern with one particular team from one particular head coach who shall not be named, about me doing this job on their bench because they don't want me giving secrets to my father, which is the funniest shit in the world. Like what secret would I give him? What, your plays? Like as if they don't have synergy and they haven't scouted you. They haven't had guys scout you for like 2 weeks. And they're like, well, he'll be near the huddles. Bro,
well, now that there's been a couple of scandals in the NBA. Now the lid's blown open. They're like Austin's signaling. Like
any team could have a guy just go stand near the bench. Like it's not. Right. There's nothing I can get that I'm going to give my father that they don't already know. They know every play you run, my guy. They know your offense. They know who your best players are. There's nothing I can give. So that seemed a little bit flagrant for me. But it's only one team and there's only one coach, and I'm not calling any of their games this year. So
there you go. And for those listening, I have friends that are scouts for other NBA teams. They're never at the games that their team that employs them are playing. They're at two random NBA teams are playing. That's where the scouts are watching. So that happens all the time. Like where a Spurs scout could be at a Pistons-Cavs game. You know what I mean? Like that's not
correct.
Right.
Correct. So we'll again, there's no drama. I don't have any issues with any coaches, no problems, no beefs, nothing like that. I think people were more not people. This particular coach was worried about me.
Stop saying particular coaches.
Well, it's only one. I don't want to say like I don't want to make an invisible army if there's not one. It's only one guy. Right. It's just one guy has. He's a quirky guy as is, so it doesn't surprise me. But
okay.
He's worried about me. Telling secrets that I don't know. So anyways, but regardless of that, we got our first game tonight. Very excited to deliver this for NBC and to give fans hopefully like a new experience of like watching a game. So excited.
Yeah. As far as the game is concerned, it's Pistons-Cavs.
Yeah.
Two teams that are, obviously supposed to be in the playoffs. Definitely the Cavs. You got Cade Cunningham versus Donovan Mitchell. Like this is a big matchup, especially in the Eastern Conference, right? That's pretty depleted this year. What are you excited to see at this game? What are you excited? What matchup? Is there anything particular?
I'm always excited to see the other guys because both teams are in like Detroit's trying to reinvent themselves. I say that because they're already in the process of trying to reinvent themselves. They had changing coaches or a coaching change, front office change. This is all over the past few years. They got Langdon in there now is running the show, and then they brought in Bickerstaff as the coach. They brought in vets the past couple of years, which now with their young talent, they're able to be competitive and become actually a really exciting ball club. Hence the reason why they went to the playoffs last year, pushed the Knicks to what they did. But then they lost a lot of this talent in terms of the vets, not their young core. That's still there. And they still got some. They got Duncan Robinson, a couple of these guys, but, they lost what's his name? Schroeder. They lost Schroeder. They lost Malik Beasley. They lost Tim Hardaway Jr. So they got, they lost shooting. Some of these guys who know how to play and win now, they lost. And that can hurt a team. Now they still have Tobias Harris, which is great. They went and got Duncan Robinson, which is great. So they were able to replenish with some of these good vets, but they did lose some shooting. Malik Beasley obviously is dealing with whatever he's dealing with right now, and then obviously you have Tim Hardaway Jr., who's over in Denver. These are guys who are really fitting well with them that they weren't able to re-sign. So they're still trying to find what was working last year and do that. Cleveland, on the other end, got their whole team back. It's a championship or bust season for them. I just talked to Kenny Atkinson, and he was just like, there's nothing for us left to do but win. We have to get over that hump. It's there. It's one thing to believe we can win. It's another to know we can. And that's where we're at. Now, currently, he's like, we got a whole bunch of guys out. So we're trying to find a couple role players that when those guys get back, we can keep playing. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. That's why when I say the other guys, I'm looking at who's going to kind of come in for Cleveland. Right now, Garland's not playing. You're seeing Sam Perrell get all these minutes. He's playing really well. They're going to play that Porter Jr. kid tonight, a little bit more minutes. They might start playing the young kid out of Duke. What's his name?
Tyrese Proctor.
Proctor, who's a great shooter. Some of these guys are going to get extended minutes right now because they have a lot of key guys out. Max Strus is out. Darius Garland's out. Not to mention, you got Hunter, who just came back from an injury, so they're working him in slow. Lonzo Ball doesn't play back-to-back, so he's not playing tonight. So, these minutes are going to go to guys who typically wouldn't get some, but it's an opportunity to, grab a role because they need to fill out their, 9-man rotation, which he hasn't done yet. That's literally what Kenny Atkinson's saying. He's like, right now we're just trying to win where we can, steal wins while we get our team back together. And in the process, because we have guys out, I'm just going to throw a bunch of these guys out there at different times, different games, play guys different minutes because I'm trying to find something. So that's what I'm looking for. That's exciting to me. On the other end, Detroit.
That's a great point that you made that we always talk about. When guys are out, it's an opportunity because when those other guys step up and build confidence, then when the playoffs come around and you have your team at full strength, these other guys have got reps in. And I really like that Lonzo Ball. I'm picturing when they're at full strength, he kind of plays like the Sean Livingston on the Warriors role, off the bench, guy that could be a playmaker, who was once a lead guard, but obviously injuries kind of put him in the role he's at now. But he could definitely affect the game, affect the series. Another guy you could trust with the ball in your hands.
Correct.
When it's not, Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell. So, I do like other guys stepping up, especially early in the season. You know what I mean? And them getting their confidence up.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity. People don't realize that at the end of the bench, man, these guys are the best players in the world. All these guys are. And some players are only an opportunity away from becoming a household name or a perennial role player or something like that. It all starts with an opportunity. Nobody can be great if they don't play. So when you have guys out, it creates an opportunity or a window for someone to come in and be like, I could do this. And so I'm always interested to see that. Tonight will be fun.
Speaking of guys being out, Austin Reaves with 51 last night with LeBron and Luka out. I'm having a really hard time gauging exactly, if you want to do an NBA ranking, top 100 players, where I would fit him, because as a third option, historically, you have guys that are, let's say Klay Thompson was a third option on the Warriors. I don't know if when all the other guys are out, he can give you 50 by himself. There's some third options that are perfect as being the third guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's some third options that could just kind of carry the team when the other guys are out. And Austin Reaves clearly, remember last year against Boston Reaves, where he could, give you 40 or 50 and team to a win. He seems like the kind of guy that if the other guys are out, you could run the same kind of offense just through him. And I have a really hard time figuring if he was on his own team, could he be like a top 2 guy?
His game is predicated off the ball, on the ball. I'm sorry. So he can create his own shot. So if you have guys out with a guy who can create his own shot with unlimited touches, he's a guy who can put up numbers. The key for him is because he does the bulk of his scoring with the handle. How can you be a great third option when LeBron's out there and when Luka's out there? Because these guys also are on the ball threats. They're not Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson could have 30 points from dribbling 4 times. That Reaves can't do that. Reaves needs to pick and roll. Reaves needs to come up. Listen, his clips last night were fantastic. He's definitely a prolific scorer. He needs the ball to do that, like to dribble, to set up his rhythm. So on a night, for instance, I'll give you an example. When I played for the Rockets, I always try to bring it back to home so people can understand it better. When James was out, I had 41. It's not because I was just hot that game. The opportunity was there, and I'm a guy who, if you give me a rhythm and I can dribble it, I could go score. Now, when James is out there and Russ is out there, if Chris is out there, how can I be the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever option I am that night? Right? How can you be effective then? What Reaves could do on a bad team, I don't know, because then people would be guarding him like a number 1 option, where like last night he kind of comes out and surprises people. At that point, when he's hot, it's too late. When you get a prolific scorer like him thinking the basket's this big, it's over. You know what I mean? Like, it's over. Some of the shots he was hitting last night were ridiculous. You know what I mean? So it's just like, do I think he could be a number 1 option guy? No, I don't. I don't think Reaves could be a number 1 option. On a competing title team? No.
No. Not on the title team.
But do I think he could be a second option guy? Possibly. My eyes have continued just to open wider. He just gets better. He's gotten better.
I almost want to revisit the Tyler Hero, Austin Reaves conversation we had last year.
No, that's my point. Like, so now that's a conversation. It's not just because he had 51. Yeah. It's his overall, like, his game has just improved. He's gotten better and better and better and better and better. He just keeps getting better. So, like, I don't know. That's a real conversation now. Would you take Tyler Hero or Austin Reaves? Last year I would have in a blink, but like Hero, he could average 22, like not even trying. He's just like a minimalist dribbler, doesn't need a lot of time, doesn't need a lot of space, very efficient, tactical scorer, averages 22, 23, 24 points a game for the Heat. It's not really a question. Versus a guy who averages 17 for the Lakers, who's a third option. Hero's the number 1 option for the Heat at going Hero. This guy's like the second, third option for the Lakers. Is averaging the same numbers now, 20-something plus. Put up 51 the other night. His scoring just seems to continue to get more diversified. His footwork, his craftiness around the rim, he just continues to add something. It seems like each year, Austin Reaves comes back a better player. Austin Reaves has gotten so much bigger as a personality, as a person now, that 70% of the people that come along and see my face call me Austin Reaves. And I used to get bothered by it because I'd be like, yeah, I look like Austin Reaves. Like, you know, my name. Obviously they know who I am. That's why they're getting confused with Reaves because they know I'm Rivers, but they're calling me Reaves. I used to be like, bro, don't call me that. Now, he scored 51 the other night. I was like, I'll take it.
Honest mistake.
So it's like, yo, Austin Reaves. The other day I was like, what up? Now I'm leading into it. I was at the restaurant the other day, like, hey man, big fan, bro. Big fan, Austin. We all love you, bro. Reaves, you'll never pay here. I was like, I appreciate it, man.
Whenever there's an article with your name on it, like Austin Reaves does this about LeBron, everyone's like, why would he say that about his teammate? I'm like, are you guys reading the headline wrong? Like, it happens a lot on that.
It is close. Austin Reaves, Austin Rivers, it's right there.
Right.
Both 2 guards, both score, sure.
There you go. Just lump him. He had 51, and you're putting yourself. The Venn diagram is closing in. You made a really good point. I didn't even think about for the Lakers to probably reach their potential, their peak. That big 3 isn't exactly how you would draw up if you were a GM a big 3, right? Because they don't necessarily complement each other. They all do the same thing.
I already said what I wanted to do, and people got mad at me last year when I said it. So you know what I would do if I was the front office of the Lakers. You know who I'm getting rid of.
Oh, and you don't just trade.
And that's the problem. You know what? I shouldn't even word it like that. When I say get rid of, it just sounds bad. I would like to move off of this guy. And he is, first off, I'm talking about LeBron. Like, speaking of color here. I think LeBron James obviously is arguably the greatest player of all time. We don't need to run through the resume, okay? We know that. To Michael or him, take your pick. I think at this point in his career, he is still an unbelievable talent. Look at the numbers. They speak for himself. I think for him to continue to do this, which is what he's, in my opinion, still chasing these things, he has to have the ball in his hands a lot. I don't know if you've watched Luka. I want the ball in that guy's hands, okay?
I think he averages like 49 points a game right now. Luka.
So that's who I want the ball in their hands. And then if it's not him, respectfully, if I'm a guy building out the Lakers for the next 10 years, their roster is not full of 15-year vets, guys, okay? So for everybody that's like, Lakers have to win now, their roster doesn't even scream that. It doesn't. So I'm building for the future if I'm him. Luka's still relatively young. They said the same thing about Shea. Shea's got plenty of window left. So does Luka. Luka's arguably probably entering his prime now. It's the best I've ever seen him look. You have Luka. Austin Reaves is now flourishing. I want the ball in his hands. Okay? LeBron's value probably is still, I don't know where it's at because he signs these 2-3-year deals, but he has a couple years on his deal. The business he brings in, the money, everything he brings in, I'm sure you probably could get 2 to 3 good players, young players for a LeBron James, bro. And if I'm a Lakers, I don't think their roster fully healthy is a win-now team. I don't see it.
Right.
Even if LeBron's out there, I think if LeBron's out there, he takes a little bit away from Luka, so then Luka does more, so now he's taken away from Reaves. Now Reaves is trying to find a rhythm because he's a third option, but he hasn't touched the ball in 5 or 6 possessions, which would never happen if you know what I'm saying? Like, if some of these guys weren't playing. So it's like, you got 3 ball handlers on the floor. Like you said, you just pointed it out. I don't even have to say this. You said it without saying it. If you were constructing the Lakers, would this be your big 3? No, it wouldn't be. You would have Luka with Reaves, which is fine, but then my third guy would be like an Anthony Davis, whatever it is. Do you know what I'm saying?
Look at all of LeBron's big 3s that he's ever won with, right? There was the Chris Bosh or a Kevin Love type. That was in there. Then you had a Kyrie Irving or Dwayne Wade, just a guy that can give
I don't mind another guard with LeBron, and I don't mind another guard with Luka. Just like Kyrie was put with him, just like Dwayne Wade was put with him, or Kyrie was also put with LeBron as well. They both played with Kyrie. You need another ball handler because then it's too much of him. It's too much. Then you get in a situation where it's like Trae Young, like you got a guy just dribbling the whole game. It's one guy controlling it. It's easier to stop. If you stop him, the game's over. To have 2 guys be able to make plays, finish games, close games, hit big shots, make for themselves, and others, that's a skill. Especially today, you saw Nembhard, Halliburton, Jalen Williams, Shea. It's okay to have 2. I think that's a strength. So I have no problem with Reaves and Luka. I have no problem with Luka and LeBron or LeBron and Reaves. All 3 of them doesn't make sense to me because you're starting all 3 of them together as well. So you got all 3 of them starting. It doesn't make sense. Now, if LeBron wanted to play a 3-man position where he's off the ball, that'd be one thing.
Or like a Draymond Green on steroids type of role. Unfortunately, it's a good problem to have. He's too good to still too good. He was like 6th in MVP voting last year.
He's a ball handler and he's a game controller. LeBron's not out there to do a specific thing. Steph can be 37. He's out there to score and shoot. Even though he's a point guard, you can have other players around him who could dribble because they're still finding him. And like Steph doesn't need a lot of time to do his thing. KD is out there to be he's a mercenary for hire. He scores. So you could put 2 ball handlers next to KD. He fits in like a glove. That's why he was able to go into that Warriors offense and it was just seamless. LeBron, for instance, if you put LeBron in that Warriors system, it's completely different. Not saying he can't do it. He's one of the smartest basketball players to ever play the game. Probably is the smartest basketball player to ever play the game. That I could give him that title. That can go for you and against you depending on what you're trying right now. And with 3 guards, he's not a guy he's not going to play the 3-man and be off the ball because that's not how he affects the game. That's not how he dominates the game. He dominates the game by controlling the game. So if he's controlling the game, how's Luka controlling the game? How's Reaves getting his looks?
Well, what happened last year? Last year, you liked the Lakers going into the playoffs. They were the 3 seed. They came in pretty hot. You said when you have 2 geniuses on the court like Luka and LeBron, they're still gonna figure it out. Like those are the 2 guys to figure it out. You're not putting just 2 superstars next to each other. So you're kind of backing off that after seeing how they played in the playoffs.
I'm backing off it due to the fact that Reaves is flourishing right now, and I don't know if all three of them can eat at the table together. And if LeBron was willing to be or act like he is in year 23 and be like year 22, whatever it is, and be like, yo, I'm here to still dominate and hoop, but I'm going to let you guys kind of have the ball a little bit more. I'll be off the ball. When I get it, I'll make my reads, my plays, and I'll still dominate in that way. I'm going to be more straight line drive, quick decision. I'm going to dominate the NBA in a whole different way, like, because that's what he can do too. LeBron could be a straight line driver tonight or a spot shooter and still average 23 because that's how good he is still. So if he was willing to do that, I could see them working. He still gets the rebound and dribbles off the floor to be like, let me do my thing, which is fine because he's LeBron James. He's earned that, and he's still very, very good, guys. This isn't a thing against LeBron. It's a matter of if LeBron's doing it, then I don't know if people have watched Luka the past couple of days. That's been because LeBron's not playing. That's why he's having 50 and 49, and that's why Reaves have 51. These guys are loose as a goose right now. Then you get LeBron out there, suddenly things get a little bit tighter and different. It's the truth.
Yeah.
You can get mad at me all you want. People get mad at me because I'm going to have LeBron fans commenting. I'm not wrong. This has nothing to do against LeBron.
Well, they're not going to do it because if they ever clip anything out, they're going to see all the. You just said he was the smartest basketball player to ever play.
And then at that point, I'd be arguing with an idiot. So I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to go back and forth with someone who doesn't take the time to read what I say or understand what I'm saying, which is common sense. I don't have a problem against LeBron. He's one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. He's great. And even at year 29, he's still going to be unbelievable at basketball because that's how gifted and good this guy is and brilliant he is. My thing is, LeBron, if you are this good at basketball, which you are, if you are this mentally elite at knowing and controlling the game, which you are, can't deny any of those things, can't argue those things, I would like him to challenge himself to dominate off the ball a little bit more and sacrifice some of the attention on the ball to give to Reaves, to give to Luka. That way you can just, I would like him to be a slasher, quick line driver, spot up shooter because he's improved his jump shot. And then at times he's always going to have the ball sometimes still and be able to control and get assists because that's who he is by nature. Especially you take Reaves out early or Luka out early. Now LeBron, you run this unit. You have to pull back a little bit. You're in year 23, man. You got to pull back.
But the problem is on pretty much any other NBA team, minus a couple, he would still be at the stages in his career, the main guy. It's just on this particular team.
It's only this team. I'm not saying another team he can't go do that. He's
if you were on the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow, he would be the ball handler guy, and Giannis and him would be an amazing. He would still be the guy controlling the game like Luka has been the last couple of years.
Most teams he would be. I'm saying if he's playing, him and Luka are the same. And then you got now Reaves flourishing. It doesn't make sense. I'm saying on this team, he has to sacrifice a little bit of on the ball to let the other guys go. It'll work more seamless if he buys into that straight line drive, quick decision maker, 3-point spot up shooter, cutting, moving, and then when in need, still directing and making plays, especially when one of those other guys are out, still being LeBron. End of the game, you're LeBron. Still make your moves, reads, this is this. But throughout a game, throughout the regular season, to let these guys eat, get the rhythm, you got to pull back a little bit, man. Now, in 99% of the NBA, you can throw LeBron on the team and be like, yo, go run it, because he's still capable. LeBron can still average 25, 7, and 7 in his sleep. That's how good he is. I'm saying in year 23, playing with two talented young ball dominant players, you got to pull back. Otherwise, it ain't going to work. Or it will work only to a certain point. That's my opinion. It doesn't make me right, guys. It's just my opinion. I think he should pull back a little bit. And I'm not saying I would trade him. I did say that at the beginning, but it only if it makes sense. If you could get 2 to 3 really good wing players, athletic guys, preferably defenders. That's another issue we haven't talked about. Everything's all good right now. Some of these guys are injured. These guys are going for big nights, scoring nights. Okay, cool. When we get into the thick of this, if you got LeBron James, Austin Reaves, and Luka Doncic all defending at the same time on the floor, that's a problem. Not to mention DeAndre ain't like the great, the hustle and the attitude's not always there. Like that has a recipe to be catastrophic. I'm just being honest with you.
I like the bringing in Marcus Smart, for example.
That's why they brought in Smart, and that's why Vanderbilt, who can barely do a double crossover, plays 35 minutes a game because he does all the little things. He's great on energy, picks up full court. You got to play those two. That's why Marcus Smart's minutes, people didn't really understand, like, that signing was a lot bigger than what people think it is. And if you haven't been able to tell through the first couple of games, JJ likes him and trusts him and is going to play him a lot. because of their star guys don't defend too. It's not the Thunder, man. Your best player is not Chet, who's also going to be on a first-team defense or one of the defensive teams. Jalen Williams is a first-team all-defender. Shea can be a first-team all-defender. Their stars go both sides of the floor and defend. It's different when you got the Atlanta Hawks have one Trae Young, and then they hide him. All right, they hide Trae. You got Dyson Daniels out there. You got this guy. They got a bunch of defenders around him. The Lakers got 3 dudes.
Right.
And LeBron used to not be in that conversation. Year 11, LeBron, I'm not putting there. Year 10, year 5, LeBron, I'm not. Year 23, LeBron, I can't expect to pick up full court and be out there just doing everything on defense. It's not even reasonable to ask. So he's going to have to take plays off. Then you got Luka, who's not a great defender. Then you got AR, who gets targeted a lot. I'm just telling you, Aiden's not the greatest shot blocker. They have their defense is it's tough. It's tough. So that's why I'm like, sometimes this fit with this team, I do have worries and concerns, quite frankly. Yeah.
You brought up 2 ball handlers like Luka and AR playing together, and you brought up Tyrese Halliburton and Nembhard. I want to talk about Dylan Harper, who we haven't talked about on the pod because we talked about VJ Edgecombe and Cooper and all this other stuff. Dylan Harper looks really good off the bench. Really just in the paint getting buckets, right? Like I think last game he didn't even shoot a 3. And everyone's talking about when De'Aaron Fox comes and you have Steph Castle and all these guys, and they just signed De'Aaron Fox to that extension, how these guys are going to be able to share the ball. And right now, for me, Dylan Harper kind of looks like James Harden off the bench for the Thunder those years, right? He's coming in, he's creating, he's making plays, and eventually he's just going to be too good not to start.
Yeah, I think the Spurs right now are in a situation where they're like, hey, listen, this is a problem, but it's not right now. This problem's 2 years down the road. And we'll address it then, just like the Thunder did with James, and you hope you make the right decision. That's where that's where the Spurs are at. Right now, Dylan Harper's a rookie, okay? So they're talking about winning. They're talking about they're for real. You saw Kelvin Johnson's comments after the game, like, yo, we're for real, man. Like, this isn't just some gimmick. We're 3 in a row for real. We're going to play hard every night. We're going to compete every night. This team is not some slouch. We're coming to go. We talked about this. The Spurs are ready to – this ain't the last year. They're coming – a slot is being taken out of the playoffs, and the Spurs will be in there. Someone's not making it. The Western Conference is a gauntlet. And the Spurs are a part of it now, 100%. They're well coached. They play hard. They listen. That whole thing is there. Not to mention they have the most talented basketball player in the history of the game on their team. So with all these things, this recipe, these are good issues to have. These are good problems to have, all right? People be like, well, you're contradicting yourself because you just said the Lakers have too many ball handlers. So now the Spurs, it's okay? Yeah, one's a rookie and still finding himself. If anything, you play him with De'Aaron and you have him back up De'Aaron. He's going to learn a lot playing with him, playing alongside him, playing behind him. De'Aaron's also older. He's going to have injuries just like he is right now. There's going to be times where Harper starts, plays a lot, plays a little. It's all part of the experience. At least he's going to be in the rotation playing a lot of minutes. In a year or two, when Harper starts getting to that point, and they're like, Harper, sits down with the front office like, yo, I'm ready. I want to start, man. I want to be the point guard here. That's when you address that issue. Right now, as a rookie, it's not an issue. If anything, they have all the firepower they need. I understand what you're saying. This is a concern amongst Spurs fans. Vessel's averaging 20. Stephen Castle's averaging 20. Harper's averaging like 15. Wemby's averaging 40, 10, 12, 13, and 9. These guys are all putting up numbers. They're like, well, what's going to happen when De'Aaron comes back? He's going to be another 20 point. That's how it works. Somebody's going to have to come back down, but it's okay. It's okay. They're young.
One minute you're not making the play, and now you're too talented. Like, come on, just be happy with what's going on.
Exactly.
It's all because of Wemby being this good, though. That's what it is.
That's why, though.
Him being this good, now everyone's like, how do we win a championship sooner than later?
And a lot of players are like, I don't mind going to San Antonio. I'll go compete with this. I'll go play with this young dude in tax-free state and live in bro, listen.
De'Aaron Fox just forced his way there. That's what he did. De'Aaron Fox was the first to do it. He was like, I want to be traded and I want to be to San Antonio. Everyone's like, this is early. It's already happening, though.
It is. It's already happening. And to your point, like you said, they went from not making the playoffs to now you're too much talent. That's the difference. Lakers is always trying to win. They went and bought their roster. They got all these guys put there, traded. This Spurs team has been homegrown, with the exception of grabbing a De'Aaron Fox in a couple places, people like Harrison Barnes, whatever. It's been homegrown. Why don't we just deal with the talent first? It's like the Thunder. Everyone's like, see how Wiggins is playing? Wiggins is hooping, by the way. They're like, what so is Casey Wallace. How are we going to afford? Sam Presti's like, we're not worried about that right now. We'll figure that out this summer. All I know is right now we're trying to run it back and trying to win again. These guys are here. We have them under contract. When it comes down to renegotiate or redo this, we're going to have to figure out players to let go or not. I don't know if they can re-sign Caruso again. I think Caruso's time, because he's getting older, they'll probably push Caruso around, and then Casey Wallace goes right into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you figure out. Right now, it's not that issue. The Spurs right now don't have to figure out anything with De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper. He's a rookie. So we're just going to keep playing him a lot of minutes, and when Fox gets back, he'll back him up. If De'Aaron Fox is killing one game, or if Harper's killing one game and Fox is struggling, then Harper's going to finish the goddamn game. You know why it's not a problem? You know the main difference? Neither of them were the best player in the team. So it's not an issue. Luka and Reaves and LeBron, that's the team. Harper and Fox are very key players. We know who the guy is. So who finishes the game? There's no ego in that, because that's the only guy who gets to have it on the Spurs. The alien. Everyone else, you fit in. So it's like right now, it's not an issue.
Yeah, and there will be a market. If, let's say, De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper down the road, they have to get off De'Aaron Fox. There's always going to be a market for a guy that talented. There's a market. Last year, the Lakers thought about trading for Zach LaVine. Like, you know what I mean? There's always a market for a really good player.
Either of those guys. You can get off Harper, his talents through the roof, which they're not going to. But you get off him, you get off Fox. You can get off any of these guys. Not to mention, one's a rookie. He's on a rookie deal. He's not up for a contract extension for a few years. These aren't issues they have to worry about. The Reaves and Luka and these guys who signed these 1+2 years, these are the guys that you have to like stress about, like working and fitting. But this dude just got in the NBA. I don't have to worry about whether I'm picking Harper over Fox yet. That conversation isn't happening yet. So it's like they get to just enjoy this, and neither of them are the guy. So it's not a problem. Yeah, Spurs are in a much better situation.
Last pod, we talked a little bit about Wembanyama's first game against the Mavs. Since then, he just keeps doing it. Do you want to give another couple minutes to dedicating to Wembanyama?
I mean,
we talked about him after the first game. Now he just keeps doing it.
I'll keep it brief. I mean, he's just very talented, and he's just continued to show his growth, his overall approach to the game. I like the edge he's playing with right now. He's playing with this. I'm be careful with my words. He's playing with like this street, like this edge to him. I love it. There was a point last year where I watched him, as talented as he is. I would watch games where I'm like, remember, I'd be like, man, he shoots so many threes, just seems soft, seems a little gets pushed around. Right now, he's trying to push people around. Even though he's still light, he still probably has another 10, 15 pounds to go. And for people who don't know that or believe that, just go look at footage of like Giannis from year 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. It was year 3 to 4 where that jump happened. It's when he won most improved.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're entering year 3 for Wemby, and I think this year, next year, or that year, he jumps into being top 5 guy in the NBA, to a point where at one point he's going to end up being the number 1 guy. I think we all see that coming. Him playing Anthony Davis was 100% purposeful in showing the world, like, he made him look like a child that game. And I know it's early in the season. AD's also played a shit ton of years and has a lot of miles, a little bit heavier right now than he usually is. There's a lot there, but regardless, that's still Anthony Davis. And Wemby dominated to the point where it was like, and he's followed it up with another dominating game and another dominating game. And now he's not even, I don't have to have 40. I'll have 29, 13, 10, and 8. He dominates in every way. He fills the stat sheet up, man. So that's what's been most impressive: his approach, his edge, his improvement, his strength. And it looks like mentally, him and his team, just from the interviews, the post-conference games, they're like, we're ready to play now. This whole thing where like we're going to run the league, we're doing it right now. Y'all got us, man. They're almost pissed off. Y'all talking about us long term. What about right now term? You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that. So I like where the Spurs are at. Very impressed with him, Wemby specific, and their whole team for that matter. And they don't even have some of their guys back.
You mentioned the Mavericks, and I have to ask you: do you like that they're playing Cooper Flagg at point guard? Because it reminds me of like, remember LeBron's rookie year where they just put him at point guard, and is that the way you want him to kind of learn the NBA? Now, obviously, LeBron ended up being a good point guard years down the road. He led the NBA in assists for the Lakers, but
he wasn't. Yeah, I see.
But throwing him as a point guard when no one has ever thought about Cooper Flagg being a point guard, and I get it, their team is long, and then they don't want to make him come off the bench, and they got to figure it out, and Kyrie's out. But
my only issue, I'm going to answer that question. Go ahead.
no, for me, it just doesn't seem natural. And it's weird coming from a point guard like Jason Kidd being the coach. Like,
So that's the thing. When he put him at point guard, I tried to hold my tongue and speak out because it's like, yo, the guy who's doing this is Jason Kidd. Okay. So if anybody knows about being a point guard or what it takes to be a point guard, it's Jason Kidd. If anybody can maybe see something in somebody where you're like, yo, this guy could maybe have some point guard specific skills and talents that we can maybe open some doors on, let's try it out, it'd be Jason Kidd. So I'm not questioning Jason Kidd at all. He's a basketball genius and guru, blah, blah, blah. My issue with it, though, if I'm going to have some, is he's never played point guard before, okay? So there are just certain intangibles that a point guard has that, like, Cooper is going to have to figure out now, which is a lot in your first year when you're already trying to figure out everything else. That's number one. Two, I like Cooper being aggressive to score. There have been a couple games so far, it's early. There's been a couple games where, like, he has, like, 3 shots at halftime. That's not enough for me, all right? 3, when Kyrie comes back fully healthy, Kyrie's going to be the point guard. So it's inevitable that he's working on a position he ain't going to play anyway. 4, I want him to fine-tune his scoring ability. He's still so unpolished in some of his scoring, his shooting, his off the dribble, midi pull-up, post-up, face-up, off the dribble 3, coming off pick and roll, stopping on a diamond, shooting 3s. These are skills that he has still yet to develop at a high level. I would like his touches and plays and time on the court be allocated to that. I would like him to be working on these type of things in this meantime, not working on a position that he's not going to do long term when they get a point guard back. Bro, think about it. He's a rookie trying to figure out the NBA, trying to find his niche, also has the weight of the organization on him. Luka leaves, you're the new guy. They get the number 1 pick in the draft. You're also Cooper Flagg. You got all this on you, and now he has to remember the sets. All right, I got to get everybody in their place. I got to get this guy hasn't shot the ball. When I see he has 3 shots at halftime, that tells me he's coming up the court like, let me run this play. This guy hasn't got the ball a couple times. He's looking at me funny. That's what you – instead of we're going to put you out there as a wing, go play. Go play. Go hoop. See, LeBron, when they try to put him at point guard, he's LeBron. It's fine. But when you put like Boobie Gibson or some of these other guys at the point, they were never really the point. They just used them like a Mario Chalmers to bring up the ball. That way LeBron doesn't have to. It saves him energy. When they need to run a set, he don't have to be the one in command. He just gets to go be a wing. But then when he gets a rebound, or even when Mario would get it, LeBron gets to make the play and make the assist anyway. So it's like they were the point forward, but without all the point guard responsibilities and stresses. So I don't mind Jason Kidd putting him at point guard, but I would rather him just play the forward spot and give him point responsibilities. Hey, when we're on a miss, this is where you tell D'Angelo, who you're bringing in on a very great deal. Hey, D'Lo, when you get the ball, on make shots, run the offense. But even sometimes, look to kick it up to Cooper. I want him to make plays, not only just for himself. I want him to learn how to make plays for everyone else. That's how you develop the passing skills and the point guard skills. Throwing him in at point guard and being like, go run an offense. He's out there. There's too many things going on as a rookie. He's already trying to – number 1 pick is so much. There's so much. Right? I'd rather him just be a point forward, and then he can develop just making plays but not have the stresses of being a point guard when he's never been one. That's my issue.
Kind of like Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum led the Celtics in assists, but he didn't come out of the gates being the point guard of a championship-ready team, right? He just learned it as he got. Correct. His whole career would have been different if he just threw him at point guard on those really good teams. Yeah.
Jason Tatum needed to fine-tune his post skills. He didn't have that coming out. Jason Tatum needed to find – it's one thing to know how to shoot off a step back. It's another to know how to – people don't understand. People who are listening to this, I want you all to understand there's a difference between being able to come off a pick and roll, get a switch, dance, and do a tween step back versus getting the ball in a tight, tactical, small space, bump your defender, come off with one dribble in rhythm, and go right into your shot. There's a different level of skill and comfortability that like those type of wings have to get. Tatum had some of the ISO stuff coming out of Duke. He needed to fine-tune that scoring and make it more tactical, more efficient, more clean, be able to score in many different ways, not just dancing and ISO. Yes, shooting off the dribble is one thing, but shooting off the dribble purposefully and very like efficiently is a different thing. It's a different skill. This is what Tatum has now gotten, where he has everything. You can't guard him. So this is what I want Cooper to work on. Derek White is not a point guard. He plays point guard just to bring up the ball. The ball's still going to be in Jaylen Brown and Tatum's hands. They're always going to be 1 and 2 in assists because the ball's always on their hands. That's where you tell your point guards, hey, yo, listen, we need you to run sets when the other team makes a shot, and if it's getting chaotic, run a set. I'm not putting that in Cooper's mind right now. Cooper, go be a wing, go defend, go dunk, go rebound, go slash, go do your thing. We are going to do is when sometimes on makes it, we're going to look to you in transition. We want you to make some plays. That's how you develop his skill. Just the Tatum thing is a perfect example, Pausha. You made a perfect example. And that, just like Tatum did, develop your offense. Jaylen Brown, you remember Jaylen Brown out of Cal? He didn't have 90% of the shit he has now. You got to go develop. That's what I want Cooper to do.
Yeah, the best point you've made for me, absolutely, with a light bulb clicked is for Cooper Flagg to not be the Kirilenko people called and to be a go-to guy. His his ability needs to get a lot better and develop. And it's just, like you said, it's not going to develop like that when he's in charge of getting everyone else going.
He's charged of like, okay, AD's mad. He hasn't got a shot in a minute. I got to call this play. Bro, I don't want him thinking about none of this. I want him to be running around. And then I want him also, let's fine-tune this dude's offensive skill set. Let's get Cooper in some early post-ups. Let's get Cooper in some high ball pick and rolls. He'll get all of his experience playmaking just doing high ball pick and rolls anyway. I don't need him dribbling. Who gives if he dribbles from baseline to half court? It's useless time anyways. I don't need him to develop dribbling the ball from baseline to half court. I need his offense to be great from half court to our basket. That's where I need Cooper to develop. Right. So, like, that's me personally. I don't like the point guard position. I'm not questioning Jason Kidd. Hey, listen, he's got more years as a head coach than I do. I don't like that one specifically for Cooper now.
Right. I want him catching lobs, not throwing them.
Yeah, I don't want him throwing them. And if anything, he can throw them doing high ball pick and rolls with AD. He's going to come off. AD's rolling. Go learn how to pass there. I don't need you running the offense. Right. I need you to be the biggest part of our offense. We drafted you number 1. I don't need you to know I need you to go turn into a goddamn 3-level scorer. That's what you want Cooper Flagg to be. He's a defender. He's a slasher. He's a rebounder. He's got a post up. He's got a face up. He's got a spot shot. He can come off the pick and roll and shoot off the dribble. He can ISO. Then what do you do with him? You can't do nothing. Now you can't guard him. That's what I need him to be. So it's hard to do that as a rookie and thinking about being a point guard and running the offense and worrying about it's just like, damn, bro. Let's just take it easy on the kid.
Right. So, another League Pass favorite that we have that I want to talk about is the Charlotte Hornets. They did it to us last year. They came out early. Highlights. LaMelo every game kind of has highlights that wow me the way like Wemby wows me. He's like the guard Wemby sometimes where he does craziest stuff that no one in the NBA can do.
Very unorthodox score. You know, his shooting is he's more comfortable shooting off 1 foot.
Yeah.
Which is very and then when he does shoot off 2 feet, he doesn't jump. He jumps like half an inch, 3 feet behind the line. He'll just it's just a very strange game. It's unorthodox. He is must watch. He's so exciting to watch. He's just such a fun player to watch. I was on the plane. I just tuned into one of his games. Just like, all right, it's not like I have a need to watch Charlotte play, but I'm just like, all right, let me just tune in. They got some young, talented players over there. I'll see how Brandon Miller's, prolonging some of these other guys. So I just go over there to watch and this dude is just running around. He plays, it's almost to his detriment. He plays too free sometimes. I almost wish I could have got some of that. I was too calculated. I wish LaMelo has too much.
He underthinks. He underthinks. You were overthinking.
I'm an overthinker. He's an underthinker. I needed a little bit of that He could have used some of my overthinking, and I could have used some of LaMelo's underthinking. Yeah. He plays with this freedom that makes him so dangerous and confident. But at the same time, they're playing against Philly. It's a tie game. He has the whole ball, the whole possession, figuring out the clock. Next thing you know, he ends up on a wing. He does his sidestep 1-foot-3 air ball, it was just a bad shot for the possession. They lose the game. It's just like that's why I'm just like. Sometimes he's so free, so careless that it's like I don't know. But then that same time, his skill that is also what allows him to be like you said. He has clips every game that are the most He is. It's like the Wemby of guards. He does shit all the time. I'm just like, that was the nuttiest thing I've ever seen. He walked down the court straight up, threw a lob like it was nothing from half court, and just started walking back on defense. He's so loose on out there in the court that I just Yeah, no, he's impressive. He's so talented and skilled. In terms of Charlotte in general, I like to gauge some of these other teams like that. These teams that were like the bottom 10, like 20 games into it. Let's see where they're at.
Yeah, and Concanipple so far, really efficient scorer, just like we thought he would be. We've always
I
been
know
fans of his.
he's gonna be exactly who we thought he was. The Bears are who we thought they were. That's exactly who Colin Knipple is. We knew he was built for the NBA and solid right now. Plays off 2 feet, always in control, and at the end of the day, he can shoot the shit out the ball. Guys like that will just find their niche in their way. So I had no doubt that he would be okay, and he has been. But if we're 20 games in and they're 12-8, we can have a conversation about them. Yeah. That's when we can start talking about, hey, listen, because they have, you got Miles, you got LaMelo, you got Brandon, you got Knipple. They got some talent.
I mean, Miles Bridges, when he caught that pass from LaMelo and he dunked it, he bent his arm all the way back, probably
had it all the way
tore
back
his
here.
labrum, came all that. I mean,
they're
a
a
really talented team.
For people who, I don't know the demographic of the people who listen to our pod or follow us on Instagram. So I don't know if any of you guys know who Fabo is. Fabo used to be a rapper for a rap group called D4L. All right. He used to have a dance move where he'd bring up his foot.
What is this?
He would bring up his foot up to here. That is where Miles Bridges had that damn ball. I wish the camera could see my foot. If I was more flexible, I'd be able to do it. He had that ball. He cocked that shit back all the way.
Right.
Punched it.
D4L is Laffy Taffy?
Yep.
You didn't think I knew that. That's crazy. See?
A little southern charm for us. But yeah, no, he people are gonna hear that and be like, this guy talking about that. But yeah, no, he freak dunk, great pass. Miles Bridges has the body of like a linebacker, but can pop off the floor. He's like the closest thing to Zion in terms of weight being able to explode off the floor like that. Yeah. He's a freak athlete. But yeah, they're exciting. They are. I've actually tuned into a couple of their games. They're headed in the right direction. Remember, we had all these questions previously. Their new front office, their new coaching, they're getting it there. It's happening. And a matter of fact, a lot of these bad teams are no longer bad.
Yeah. I mean, even watching the Wizards the other night, Keyshawn George playing really well. Then you have CJ McCollum still being CJ McCollum and these other guys.
No, like some of these teams aren't like gimmies, like people think they are, and they're already rebuilding. Like some of these young teams, like you can see it. Like, again, we just talked about the Spurs. They went from being a team that they're serious. The Hawks last year, they're serious. Orlando now is very serious. Like all these teams who have historically always been the butt, it's no longer. That rebuild is happening now for a lot of these teams. Now you still have like the Nets who are still in this middle land. You still have Toronto. No, actually not. Toronto's another team. You look at it, you think you're going into a game that's like an easy win. It's not. You got Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram and Quickly and RJ Barrett. Like you have a lot of these guys who can play. Even the Thunder, or I'm sorry, even the Brooklyn Nets. Cam Thomas went for 40 last night.
But the way I can't gauge really how good Austin Reaves is, if we did a list. Like top 100 players. I can't figure out the Cam Thomas thing. He had 0 assists, 40 points. Some of the shot making is like 1% of the NBA could, make those kinds of shots.
He makes some of the hardest shots in basketball. And with that comes at a price where when he misses those, they can be very deflating. So those shots, you have to be cheered on to do it. It's like Steph takes horrendous shots, man, sometimes. He has a history of making them. So he's now encouraged to do so. They'll be on like a 10-2 run coming back to the game. Steph will come over half court and launch one and miss it. And you'll see Steve sometimes be like, "What the is that?" But you can't question it because it's Steph, and that's what he does. He's been able to do it his whole career. He makes these type of momentum shots, but he's encouraged to do so much that his teammates come over half court and they're looking for him to launch one of these things because it can change a game. Cam Thomas does this, but his team doesn't win championships. He's on a bad team. Which it's not his fault. But he takes these tough shots, makes them too, but when he misses it, people are like, see, that's why people don't want to pay him. He's bad offense. But it's like, he makes these things too. So it's very hard. I agree with you. It's very hard to judge and gauge Cam Thomas because you cannot deny, there is no reason this guy should be making what he's making right now. All right. He got hoed out in free agency. Let's just call it for what it is. All right. He did not get paid a fraction of what he should be getting paid if we're talking talent and scoring ability. Why? The outlook on him is that he's selfish and doesn't know how to play winning basketball and he takes bad shots. What I'm looking at so far is this guy's going to average 28 to 30 points a game this year. He's doing something right.
Right.
So it's like, that's the part. It's like, I don't know how to gauge. By the way, the Brooklyn Nets roster is awful. They were in that game last night.
Only because of him. That's what I'm trying to say.
Only because of Cam. He kept making tough shots to keep them in. Every time the Spurs are going to run, Cam would hit a double clutch, step back three. He was doing this the whole game. So it's like, you're saying, oh, he doesn't win. Well, the only reason they were even in a chance to win the game last night is because Cam had 40. Right. But guess what the stat that highlighted? What did everybody talk about last night?
0 assists.
0. So that's what it's like. He don't get paid to do that, though. But we let other stars get away with that all the time. Yeah, look, he had 33 and 9 assists versus Cleveland the game before. So somebody here is we're not doing. You know what I'm saying? Like
his production and the market value, yeah, it's not aligning.
It's not correct. It's not correct. Yeah. He's going to be one of those guys that's going to retire and going to be like, man, I didn't make a fraction of what I was supposed to make. And when people ask why, he's going to have a hard time explaining it because I can't even explain it right now in the moment. I can't take his team record against him because they've been ass every year he's been there. Okay? With the exception of the first year he was there when he wasn't going to play because they had Kyrie and James Harden and KD. So he wouldn't go play. So this guy got no tick the first couple of seasons because he had that shit going on. Then that chaos, which was a mess. He had to be this is what he was around as a rookie. Not the easiest environment to be in, just to give him the benefit of the doubt. All of that leaves. He's been the only young guy that they've had who has developed and just continues to get looked at like, I just don't know a handful of guys that can just come off the bench or not and just give you 30-something. I don't know a lot of guys maybe that could do that. Yet he gets paid like, what does he make? $6-7 million a year.
Like $6 a year qualifying offer.
A couple million over vet minimum. It's bullshit. But it goes around. You know, Russell Westbrook last night had like 18, 9, and 8. My man's on vet minimum. How? My man just signed a week ago, but last night he had 18, 8, and whatever. But I got Christian Braun signed a $125 million deal. I'm watching him versus the Warriors just run up and down.
That's just going to bother you. That's always going to bother you, I've noticed.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just don't understand. So like, it has nothing to do with Christian Braun. I don't have anything against Christian Braun. It's just a point to make. Like, I don't understand. Is Cam Thomas makes $6 million a year? This guy makes 30?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that you talked about where it's overlapping talent, where you have Reaves, Luka, and LeBron. A good team probably just can't bring in Cam Thomas. If you go to the Cavs, they can't bring him in with Garland and Mitchell. Like, how many teams need a guy to score 40 and not get an assist? Like, it's a very rare. No, but it's super talented. He's super talented. I disagree,
though. I think in a league that's highlighted only scoring, we're having a problem with a guy who's too good at scoring.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you go pay someone else to pass the ball? Why do we need him to be a trip? By the way, he just had 33 and 9 versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. So he is capable. On a night where no one can throw a ball in the ocean or rock in the ocean, why is he blamed for having a 0 assist? He had 40. Why don't we just talk about the 40 he had?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be 40 with 7 assists? Why does it have to be like that? What does he have to be, Luka? He's not Luka. He's a scorer. When Lou Will used to score 35, nobody, or Jamal Crawford would come off the bench and score 30. Nobody's like, well, how many assists did Jamal have? It wasn't even a question because we were bringing him in the game.
He's got bad PR on him, man. That's just what. That's a good point because these other guys, you get celebrated for it.
Yeah, they get celebrated for scoring, but then with him, bro, they call Michael Porter. That's my homie. They call him Michael. The possession ends here. Porter. You know all the nicknames. He gets celebrated for shooting the ball every time. He gets paid $30 million a year to shoot the ball every time and not make plays. But then Cam Thomas is out here a bucket. Don't like him.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't win. He's been on the Brooklyn Nets his whole career.
Hopefully one day we'll see him play some meaningful basketball and we can see how good he is really.
Hey, man, listen. Who's a really good team that struggles putting the ball in the basket?
Milwaukee Bucks?
Yeah, for instance. You're telling me Milwaukee couldn't use a goddamn Cam Thomas come to the bench. You lied.
Well, they got Cole Anthony right now, and he's hooping for them.
And he's cooking. And they're letting Cole go. Could you imagine if Cam Thomas is on the Bucks bench and they just had him to man, get out of here. This is what I'm saying. Cam Thomas should be making at the minimum, Cam Thomas should be making $20 million a year at the Minimum.
I agree with that.
He's too good of a scorer, guys. Okay, this has gone too far. I watched that game last night and I felt bad. Every time he scored, I got angrier. I would be like, yo, this dude's hitting sidestep threes, baseline, behind the basket to keep his team in. Every night he's going out there scoring 30 or more, and they gave him like $6 million a year. It's a sham. It's a
the percentage of points he scores for the team and how much of his salary takes up their cap. It's something. It's not.
It doesn't equate. If
this was the NFL, there'd be a holdout. There'd be something.
Oh no, bro. Listen, if this was 90% of other players, they would have gotten paid. I don't know what it is specifically about Cam Thomas that has rubbed people the wrong way. I don't know what's going. I've never heard any instance of him getting in trouble. I don't know anything. Nothing has come back. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
We could spend a whole pod trying to dissect this and figure it out. We wouldn't get to it. So
the Nets put out a little video on him and his upbringing and everything, like a 20-minute video. I watched it, and he's the all-time leading scorer at Oak Hill University. So it's just not an accident. This guy has just been, and Oak Hill's obviously Oak Hill. This guy has been a bucket throughout. He seemed like a great kid, and I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I think he has bad PR. People make the jokes like they made about Michael Porter. The difference is Michael Porter gets paid. He won a title, though.
But Michael was on the Nuggets and got a title. So that's my point. That's why I brought up Michael. If you put Cam Thomas on the Celtics right now instead of Anthony Simmons, you say, yeah, we need you to go score. His outlook would be completely different. He'd be out there scoring 30 for the Celtics, helping them win, and people would just be like, yo, this guy is he'd be making $30 million a year. But he's been wasting away in Brooklyn this whole time through their trial years. They're still in trial and error now. They still are in trial and error. Their two best players are him and Michael Porter Jr. It's trial and error. It's not like they're competing for a championship. So, like, he just gets the butt end of this. It just doesn't make sense to me. And it's, like, sad because I'm watching, and again, I'm not using Christian Braun as a scapegoat. I'm nothing against him. He's a good player. He's a good role player. But this is happening all over the league. You're getting these wings who don't do anything but hit a couple shots and just run around and defend and play hard. Good players, Christian Braun. He's going to have, like, 12 points, 10 points, 4 or 5 rebounds, 2-3 assists, couple steals, a deflection or two. That's his niche right there. $125 million. This guy is going to average 28 a game. The object of the game is to put the ball in the circle. You got to put the ball in the circle more than the other team to win the game. He does it just about better than anybody else, and no one wants to pay him. So unless we don't know something, unless we're missing something here now, people say, well, it's bad shots. Well, right now his percentages are showing he's making them.
Right.
And that's why I brought up Steph. Because Steph shoots bad shots all the time, but he makes them so no one talks about it. Damian Lillard used to do 2-3 good shots, and then that fourth shot was a heave. And you live with it because it's Dame. So why does Cam, he just hit 2 middies, he just pump faked and got a layup. Why is his sidestep 3 being talked about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just telling you, bro, there's something, the PR around Cam, because it's anyways.
All right, I agree with you too. Before we wrap, I want to bring up something. I saw a video of you going kayaking yesterday in Orlando in a spring filled with gators. And I just want to either A, talk about your experience, and B, these are things that I've done before that you made fun of me doing these Florida things, and then you did it. Do you have a different outlook on that kind of thing? And what was your experience like really out there kayaking in the wilderness?
Well, you are an outdoorsy person. You want to bike ride and be Lance Armstrong, and the next minute you want to climb a mountain and like go through rivers and creeks and like do all that stuff. I'm not of that sorts. I am bougie. I grew up in glitz and bubbles and champagne and glamour, okay? And that's where I like my life, to be right there in that little niche, okay? And I'm not too afraid or too ashamed to say this. And any teammate that's ever played with me knows exactly who I am, and they love me for me. I've never hid it. I'm never going to hide it. If you want to go camping, I'm not your guy.
Your house was too nice for you to be an outdoors kid.
I'm not going outdoors. I've never been an outdoorsman. I don't like nature. I like nature from afar. I can appreciate it. If I'm on a boat, a very nice one, looking out at the ocean.
Not the kind of boat some people, different kind of boat.
A boat where I'm going and doing my own rowing and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing all that. That's not my thing. I'm never been. It's not a.
If I grew up with a theater in my house, I wouldn't go outside either.
I'm not saying I'm not better than anybody else. We're all the same. We're all human beings here. I was very privileged growing up. So because of these certain privileges that I did have, that I will acknowledge, I've never been that. I like staying in my lane. I'm very comfortable. I am in terms of this, I'll call it for what it is, man. I am one of the bougiest people you ever meet, but it's not bougie in my attitude towards people. I treat everybody with respect and character. I'm bougie in
It's your taste in things.
It's my taste. It's my taste in things, and the quality of life that I like living, and the things that I like doing are considered very bougie, and I will never change for anybody. So that's how I am. So like going outside and getting in a kayak, that people saw me, you're like the 15th person, like, yo, is that real? Was a gun to your head? Like, why were you? I know you. Why were you outdoors in a kayak? The crazy things we do for love. I don't have anything else to tell you. I love her.
Did you enjoy it though? Did you enjoy it?
Parts of it. There was at one point where I was profusely sweating, and
there's some flies around you, some gnats.
There was some swamp flies, and there was water dripping down like my back, going down. And there's at this point I was like, this isn't. I shouldn't be here. But the other part of me was like, you need to get outside your comfort zone. Your better half has been asking you to do this with her for years. All right. We just got back together, and I'm trying to get outside of my comfort zone and do things for somebody that I love, that she always goes wherever I want to go. US Open, she ain't going to watch tennis. She don't know what tennis is like.
Whoa, I got to stop something. So let me get this straight. You're cooperating for her, right? Is going to do these like in a swamp, kayaking, and for her to make it work with you, she has to go to the U.S. Open and stay at nice hotels.
She has zero interest in doing those things. She has zero interest in doing them.
I know, but it just sounds nice.
I know that, but I'm saying that's the things I like to do. I would like to go to the U.S. Open. I'll go that. That's the type of shit I do for fun. That's my outdoors. You want me outdoors? I'll be outdoors. I'll be outdoors at the U.S. Open in the stadium with a Brunello on my pants.
And a $30 cocktail.
Well, with a Tom Ford jacket on. Are you kidding me? That sounds like that's my speed. I want to go get dressed up. I want to go I want to go talk. I want to go mingle. I want to, you know. That's me. Me being out there kayaking and like swatting bugs and putting suntan on my neck and all this extra crazy shit. It smells and it's hot. It's humid. My feet are in the water. I can't see. It's a snapping turtle. 4 feet from my feet. I have no interest in doing those type of things. Why was I out there kayaking for my life for 4 hours? Because the person that I love more than anything wanted me to do it. And we just got back together recently, a couple months ago. I'm trying to do things differently this time around. I'm trying to also make things not always about Austin's world. It's not just my world. It's about my other half and what things that she wants to do. And I have to dive into her interests. And I have to do these things, including getting out my comfort zone and like doing stuff like that. And I actually ended up having a fun time. We laughed, we joked. I actually even got in the water at one point because like it ends into a spring where you can swim safely. And I got in the water, which was a lot. You know, I had to get in, but I got in and like I got outside of it and I ended up enjoying certain things. So, you know, I actually had a really great time. But yeah, that's what it was, man. The crazy things you do when you love somebody. I'm only doing that for a fee. I'm going to tell you that right now. And for people saying fee, what fee? A female. That's the only thing I'm going in the water. None of my boys get me on a kayak. I can promise you that much. All right? But she coming home and throwing it down on me, I got to throw it down for her too. And my throwing it down is me getting on that kayak and pedaling with her.
Okay. Let's wrap.
It is what it
is. That's it, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in to another episode.
The point of this is, and we'll round this out right now. This is how we're going to close out. You got to get out your comfort zone sometimes. Whether it's about your own career, whether it's about your relationship, whether it's about your father relationship with your kids, whether it's doing something for your boss. Your comfort zone is your safe haven. I'm not saying to abandon it at all times, but it does need to be disconnected from sometimes to reach certain goals, career-wise, to reach certain goals in a relationship. It can't always be wrapped around you. Otherwise, you'll always end up losing because you'll always end up with someone that's going to resent you because it's always about yourself. That's something I found out throughout my NBA career, giving myself up to the team, being a role player. In my relationship, giving myself up to the team, doing things not only just that are based around me. You got to get out your comfort zone. Success sometimes begins when you get out of it a little bit. So I'm still learning that. And I've always been someone who's been comfortable in my little privilege bubble. And I've always had my little, I got to like sometimes pop that, like get out of it, be uncomfortable sometimes and mingle and talk to people, go to places I wouldn't go. I don't go out and like talk to people like that. You know me. I don't do these things. I got to start doing this stuff sometimes. So it's like, that's what's going to help me in my relationship and in life. So get out your comfort zone. All right. And with that, get out, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, the Off Guard Podcast. Better. I've been asking for years. I need you guys to subscribe. And we're here on NBC and Peacock, man. We're doing our thing. We'll be back later in the week. We're not going anywhere. And everybody be safe. Anything to add, Pausha?
No, I think we should end every episode with a nice little Austin life lesson. I think that's pretty good. Every now and then I'll sprinkle in something too.
You got a lot of life advice yourself, man. Come on.
So there's the wisdom in the gray hair. Don't let it fool you.
There's stress in there, but within stress, there's wisdom in learning. I can tell you that much. I've learned some from you as well. So we got to sprinkle some Peachy in there every once in a while for sure.
We'll do it.
Everybody have a great week. We'll be back and stay blessed.